welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Right? Yeah. Big up our sponsors, Manscaped. Go check them out. LB at 20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. The the holiday season is here. This is the perfect excuse to actually, kind of show some love to the pod, show some love to what we have been doing over the past 3.5 years. Um, you know, if you want to get something for your loved ones, your kids, I don't know, your brothers, cousins. If you're a woman, something for your man. I believe there is some stuff for women as well on Manscaped. Don't be fooled by the name. They have a huge catalog of products. Go check them out. Also, big love to our partners, Fanatics. Go check them out. Official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Probably the biggest sports apparel collection online. Also, if you guys didn't know, now you know. One of the bigger reasons why 2024 was not only special for our club, but also for us, was the fact that we kind of joined forces with the biggest sports radio station in the world, Talksport. If you guys didn't know, now you know. This podcast is powered by the Talksport Fan Network, powered by the fans. Go show some love on YouTube and especially on Twitter, or X, as they call it nowadays. But talk to me more. 2024 couldn't have asked for a better first half to finish it off, but the second half we'll get there, in a wee bit. But overall, Sevilla at home, straightforward.
I think before we get to that, I want to say, when we started this channel, I remember you used to be very reticent about doing introductions. You used to be like, man, I can't come on and say, welcome to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe, and all of that. And now here you are today, all delivering all the introductions like a professional. So
I mean, we have to.
2024 has definitely brought in some, I guess, some much needed growth for our channel. So I'm really thankful for that, and thankful to all the sponsors. But moving on, like you said. Definitely, man. It started like the first half of 2024 was it was remarkable, I guess. Like especially the way this last season ended, and now I think today we kind of gave the season, the year, a good end for Madrid, especially the way this game went on. So I'm definitely happy how today went on.
These past couple of weeks, apart from maybe Rayo, we were here, right, for Rayo. Apart from Rayo, you were okay. Yeah. But yeah, in general, apart from Rayo, I think and Bilbao, the end to 2024 has been a bit better than expected. The doom and gloom has kind of subsided a bit.
I think for me the turning point was the Girona game, especially the first goal that Jude Bellingham scored. I think. Till then they were dominating the game, but suddenly through sheer force of his will and effort, he got that goal. I think that was the turning point for his season. Rayo was definitely a blip, but I think we did decently well, all things considered, for that game. So for me, not many complaints. I am pretty satisfied with how the last few weeks have gone for Real Madrid, and hopefully this is a sign for better things to come.
100%. Right? Your boy Mo Mbappe. Like
my boy.
Yeah, your boy, right?
Okay.
Should it be your boy? Because when it's you and me on, we have my boy being Rodrigo and your boy being Mbappe. Wasn't that the thing?
I don't know, man. It's like all of Real Madrid is my boy, so.
Oh, okay. No partiality there. Fair enough.
Definitely not.
Yeah. It's me with the agendas, I forgot. But Mbappe, man, you have to tip your hat to him. Recent form has been pretty self-explanatory. Him taking initiative, him showing much more proactiveness to be involved in the game. In the build-up, just having a positive outlook helps a lot. You just see his body language is completely different to how it was maybe a month ago. The only thing lacking is probably more of it, the frequency. A bit more swagger or finishing touch in games that has been already killed off, like tonight. He could have scored a hatful if he really wanted to, but that first goal, class apart.
I think whenever we spoke about Mbappe, even before he came, we always said that this guy had he had a different quality when it came to finishing. So far this season, that wasn't on display. But the past few weeks, he has definitely taken a few steps ahead and improved himself for me. Like I said, like I think the Girona game was like a turning point for a lot of what Madrid were doing. I said for me the Jude Bellingham goal was like kind of a page turner for Real Madrid this season. But even in the second half, like Mbappe, I think from the second half itself, Mbappe started showing signs of improvement. So the game I think definitely showed a lot of changes. But regarding Kylian Mbappe's performances, like I think you mentioned pretty much everything. There's been improvement in effort, there's been improvement in finishing and everything. For me, the biggest thing is like I feel he is finally figuring out how to play the center forward position because let's be honest, that's not his that was not his position. But even today, like I still feel like. Sometimes Mbappe's game shows signs of he would be much better if he was playing off of somebody instead of being the number 9. So
yeah, 100%, 100%. He has this hesitance to basically be on the end of things. He likes to kind of start off things and probably kind of leave it to how it develops compared to probably a more instinctive center forward like Benzema was, or the great strikers of the age gone by.
Yeah, I think there definitely are elements of that. What you say is true. So I think I just want to say that I don't want to compare Mbappe to Benzema, despite
there is no comparison.
Despite what the newspapers might tell you, because Mbappe is definitely nowhere near. Like their play styles are completely different. The type of players they are is like totally different. But having said that, you definitely make some valid points. And for me, Mbappe, I think despite all the good that he did today, there is certainly still a lot of room to grow. But the good thing is like he finally looks to be he finally looks to be happy. He finally looks more comfortable. Now it's just a matter of probably getting some repetitions in, figuring out how how to interchange with all the other forwards out there. And for me, he looks finally to be settled into the group. So he's getting more used to what movements others are making and everything. So for me, it was a good game for Mbappe. Definitely room for improvement, but I think it was definitely a good way to close off 2024.
I mean the goal though,
Yeah.
even if the goalkeeper is kind of aided by a fucking crane, he isn't getting there.
Definitely not. I think that goal was like it showed the quality that Mbappe has, but then the thing is like that goal immediately got outshone by the rocket that Fede Valverde scored. So. I don't know, but like it was definitely one of the best. And when you give a player like Mbappe that much space, I mean, I don't know what you're expecting. So Kylian definitely he took his chance that he got. Could he have had more later on in the game, like you said? Definitely, maybe a Kylian of like let's say 2 or 3 years ago, maybe he scores those goals as well. For me, the biggest thing is like always whenever I'm watching him play, I feel like when he comes from the left and he's trying to score, curl ball into the box. That he used to. I think he's still trying to do that, but that still hasn't worked out. So maybe once he gets that, we can say, "Oh man, like classic Mbappe is back." But so far, it definitely looks like he's growing into Florentino's Mbappe, if I may say so. So yeah, definitely the signs are good, but let's hope the improvement keeps on coming. Because titles aren't won in December, maybe except the Intercontinental Cup, but yeah, the important titles aren't won in December.
Yeah. Mbappe is definitely getting into the flow. I mean, that is the biggest, positive change that we have kind of come across these past few weeks. But yeah, man, his positioning as well. Like if you look at the Rodrigo goal, like him basically being there, completely diverts the centre back's attention and drags him away.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically facilitating for Rodrigo to just
Yeah, exactly. I was just to reinforce the point that you're making. He was like, he's finally figuring out how to play the center forward, especially a reference point in the attack, because I don't think he was very comfortable with that towards the start. And to be honest, like there wasn't anybody in the squad that could probably share some pointers, if I might say. But so definitely he has had to learn on the go, and I think given the fact that they didn't really have much of a preseason, if I'm not wrong. Mbappe had like 10 days to 10, like, he had a pretty short break, and immediately as soon as he was back, he was in the thick of things. So for me, the time to adapt, to adjust, and to improve wasn't there. But like, I guess
Yeah.
we saw that impact the way we started the season, but finally things seem to be falling into place. But there's still a long way to go.
100%. 100%. Before we move further on, like I would like to point out, the tribute for Jesus Navas, I must say, was very very heartwarming. He isn't really one of ours, to be honest, but I have a special, connection, or some sort of an soft spot for Jesus Navas, especially for his runs with Sevilla. And while I was growing up, them humbling some of the the notoriety from the Premier League sides was a personal pleasure. And wonderful scenes from the Bernabeu, and the way they gave us a God of Honor for winning the Intercontinental or the FIFA Club World Cup, and we giving him a God of Honor. Nice. He'll probably carry it to his grave. Very nice touch.
Yeah, he definitely got a signed shirt from all the players. So,
Mm, mm.
I would
What a
definitely
player,
want to
though.
be there. Yeah. For me, I think it's difficult for me to speak about Jesus Navas, because I guess it would be disingenuous if I was sitting here and trying to shower tributes on him, because I honestly I never had much of a connection with him. I'm sure a lot of people feel differently, because he was such a legend for Spain and Sevilla. I think he ends his career with like 10 most appearances, like top 10 most appearances in La Liga. So he's
Yeah.
definitely an icon in himself. And I think the reception that he got at the Bernabeu kind of speaks for itself about how he's perceived in Spain. But like personally, I don't really have much of connection with him, so I can't speak much to him. But like you said, you certainly admired him growing up, so I'm sure you have a lot of words to say.
Just respect. For the professional he wasn't a clown like some of the others, but
He was definitely, when you have such a long career, when you have such a special place in the hearts of so many fans, there is definitely something special about you.
100%. No better way to say it. But yeah, Mbappe, brilliant. Apart from the whole second half sleepwalking that the entire team went through, even then, he was the reason why we scored the fourth goal beginning of the second half, with him basically combining with Lucas Vazquez to set up Brahim. So all that little things add up to why I am so why basically I took a complete 180 turn post the Atlanta game, because that changed something in my opinion of Mbappe completely, because we were in dire straits and we needed an important win away in Bergamo, and he was the one who kind of paved way to kick things off, and now he has basically built upon it and is looking day by day like the Mbappe we thought we were buying. And since we are on it, Brahim Diaz, Mo, this season hasn't been exactly as spectacular as last year, but every now and then, he just comes up with the goods, Brahim.
Yeah, I mean, before I go into about Brahim, I was actually thinking that you were pretty happy today because of what happened at so-called theater of memes. Because United decided to lose 3-0 against Bournemouth.
Oh yeah. I was keeping my tabs on it, but happy days.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe you were being so charitable because of that, but it turns out the story is much deeper. So pleasantly surprised. But having said that, and all jokes aside, I think Brahim Diaz definitely need to talk about it, because Brahim, I think, like you said, not the best starts of the season, although he has still contributed. And today in the game, I was thinking, maybe off the attack, Brahim is the one who seems to be having the least amount of impact, especially in the first half. But in the second half, he scored that wonderful goal. The pass for Mbappe was brilliant, but Brahim's finish was also exquisite, because it was a difficult finish, and we have to give credit to him for that.
Yep.
And there were a lot of times where he was able to get the ball out from tight situations. There was a dribble in the second half where he completely beat the Sevilla players with his movement and his feints and everything.
Yeah.
And so that kind of typifies what Mbappe brings to this. Brahim brings to this team. So for me, I think what you said is definitely on the money. Brahim, sometimes we tend to overlook his contributions, but at the end of the day, there is a reason why I guess Ancelotti and co have decided to stick with him and give him so many minutes, because he definitely has a quality that he brings to this team, and that fits with the style that they want to play. At the end of the day, as long as Brahim is contributing, I don't think anybody can complain about it. And even if the contribution doesn't necessarily shows in goals and assists, but the thing is, I think he has been very important to this team to ensuring that there's a balance, and the big guys keep performing. So he kind of helps set the platform whenever he's played.
The only thing that sometimes kind of get thrown at Brahim is the fact that when he basically starts games, he tends to kind of drift away from being the catalyst that we think he's going to be. But it's his off the ball work rate for me. Sometimes just gives him the edge over some of his mediocre performances, because he is a hard worker, and when you lose possession, him on the press is definitely something to think about for the opposition defenses, especially if they're trying to play the ball out and whatnot. I remember this particular instance, him, or I think it was on one of our midfielders probably losing possession, and him and Dani Ceballos just made it a mission to basically win the ball back. Basically, I think on our far right, down by the center circle, directly perpendicular to the center circle. I mean, but yeah, by the touchline. So Brahim's work rate is what kind of gives, at least for me, gives him the edge into Carlos' plans, even when he has some 5 out of 10s or 6 out of 10s.
I think for me personally, the way I look at it is the fact that when a team is playing, not everybody can be 10 out of 10. So some people have to sacrifice, and Brahim is a guy who's willing to do that sacrifice and still be still fit into the way the team wants to play, especially at the beginning of games. And I guess how Ancelotti wants to set out and finally get everybody into the rhythm. So when somebody like Vinicius is missing, I guess Brahim sort of becomes the natural go-to guy for him. And let's be honest, like Brahim has done a lot of good work, especially last season, to earn this earn this trust from the management. So for me, even if he has a few games where he goes, where like we are not entirely satisfied with his performances, I think he has earned himself a certain amount of leeway, a certain amount of room to to play himself back into them. And for the thing, like, if I think Brahim, if he's given a leadership role, he can do well, and in the role that Ancelotti is asking of him, I think he's doing fine. So I guess no complaints on Brahim from me.
And just to kind of bring ourselves back down to earth, Sevilla is a mid-table side, and they're playing a makeshift centre back. Our record against Sevilla has been pretty exceptional, 16 out of the last 17 at home. The only, I think, non-victory was a draw that came probably at the Di Stefano. Sevilla have just won 2 out of the last 5 games they have played in. So it has been, a kind of a game that we must, be dealing with, regardless of where we are in the season. But this performance, especially the first half, is going to do, some credible increment to what this team is kind of aspiring to be.
I think for me, the way I would frame it is not as like I'm not happy, like the joy that I get from this game doesn't come from the scoreline or the fact that we won or anything. For me, the biggest positive is like how we played, because when we're talking about, like, we looked a lot more fluid than we have at any point during the season, and the balance 100%. Of the team kind of looked like it was finally fitting in. So for me, those are the good sensations that I would carry from this game. I wouldn't reach too much into the performance of individual players, or like I wouldn't be like like you said, Mbappe, for us, like if we are praising Mbappe, it's not just because of what he did today, but because what it represents on a longer, when you look at it on a longer time scale. Like you mentioned, for you, the turning point was the game against Atalanta. Like I mentioned, for me, the turning point was the game against Girona. So it's been a trend, and this kind of reinforces and solidifies that trend of improvement that the squad has shown. So I guess that is where the joy comes from. It isn't necessarily the game in itself, because as you have rightly pointed out, Sevilla are like, I think 12 or 13 in the table. They're comfortably mid-table, and it's like we have to ignore the fact that they are Sevilla, because
Yeah.
when we think of Sevilla, we're thinking of the team that kind of challenged us in the 21-22 season for the title. So this is not
Mm.
that Sevilla. This is like a totally different Sevilla. So
Yeah.
I definitely do get it. We do not need to overrate the performances too much. But then when we look at the trend, when we look at the growth, I guess it's been a pretty positive end to the season for us. End to the year, not end to the season. This season
100%.
yeah.
100%. Season is still long.
Yeah.
But Fede Valverde, 12th long range goal for us. I think he is leading ever since his debut. The most outside the box goals in the top 5 leagues. 5 outside the box goals already this season. Again, leading in that stat. When he lets fly more, the swerve, the velocity, the venom, basically just takes the defenders out of the equation. The goalkeeper is completely negated. Like, the goalkeeper is kind of expecting the ball to go one way, and then it completely takes a swerve mid-air. So how do you compete, or how do you basically nullify Fede's threat? Because no matter how long he is away from the goal, he just manages to find it.
I think there are some players that you cannot nullify. So you just hope that you close them down and make it as difficult as you can. And I guess if I was the opponent, I would try to close down Fede Valverde and close the amount of space that he has to get that shot off. But I think Sevilla made a big mistake on when they were defending that corner. And I think Real Madrid were definitely. I think Real Madrid were especially proud of how they made it happen, because that was the goal after which you kind of see Ancelotti and all the coaching staff celebrating. So
Ancelotti and Francisco Mori basically had a hug out mini session.
Yeah, so for me, I kind of felt like this was kind of a trap. This kind of move they had worked on, and suddenly it paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you are an opponent, you definitely don't want to give Valverde the space. And then, the same thing, like I said with Mbappe, you don't want to give players of this quality this amount of space. But then, Mbappe scores a brilliant goal, Fede Valverde immediately outdoes him with an even better goal. And like you said, 5th goal outside the box this season, the most in the top 5 leagues. And now I do remember that. I definitely think I was here for the Rayo game, because that was his 4th, and now this is his 5th outside the box goal. So yeah, definitely. And Fede Valverde, the thing about him is, he has adapted to any role that Ancelotti and co have given to him. We keep on repeating these same points, but the thing this is the guy who keeps on consistently hitting the same notes that same high note that he is required to hit as a Real Madrid player.
Yeah.
So for me, I've run out of words to praise him. And I think today again he demonstrated why he's Ancelotti's most used player, probably, because every game Fede Valverde is always there delivering the best he can. And this change that Real Madrid have shown in the last few weeks, I guess, a big reason why has been the way Fede Valverde has the way Ancelotti has figured out a role for Fede Valverde in the midfield, a changed role, and how Fede Valverde has adapted to that changed role. So for me, Fede Valverde, I guess he's if you could say this season, he has definitely been Real Madrid's captain without the armband, I guess.
The large part of what we have done over the ever since maybe 2020 is largely down to Fede and his incredible consistency. What would you call someone who has 2 bad games in a season? I'll be very honest. I've seen some very very good, technically gifted or tactically astounding players play for us and play for rivals. But I've touch wood, say mashallah, all of that. I don't want to be the fucking jinx, right? But I just have to say it. Rarely have I seen someone be as consistent as he is. Guys like Rodri, they get praised to the oblivion, but Fede Valverde, he goes under the radar probably because he's less flashier watching on TV. But without him, this side is basically a shadow of themselves. He is the beating heart that keeps this engine working smoothly, both in defense and in attack.
I think for me, Frede's reputation has been a victim of his versatility, because when in 21-22 we beat Liverpool, everybody saw him play at the right wing. Suddenly now now he's moved back to the midfield. Fans, I guess a lot of people who tend to be awards at these big awards are only watching the bigger competitions, and I think Fede Valverde, when it comes to the bigger competitions, has especially when Real Madrid needed, he has been his role has been chopped and changed so much, I guess.
Hmm.
So everybody's saying, oh man, they are moving this guy around. Maybe he's not as good, as not as
Yeah,
important. But the thing is, like,
he easily is mistaken for not being a specialist.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
for me personally, the people who are students of the game, the people who really watch football, the fans who really who are aware of what is going on in the game, I think for them he's like one of the best players in the world today. Like you said, I mean, I don't want to discredit Rodri because he definitely deserves where he is, although I don't think he deserves the Ballon d'Or. But I mean, he is definitely rightfully rated. But Fede Valverde also deserves to be in that
Mm.
conversation for the best midfielders in the world for me.
100%. 100%. Yeah, Kamavinga, I think, would happily take an assist because all he had to do was basically lay out a 5 yard cross pass, and Fede basically took care of the rest. Yeah, 2-0, easy. And then Rodrigo's finish, Vasquez again. He was involved in two of the goals tonight. This is my question. Yeah, like I had to ask you this. Vasquez is a brilliant offensive fullback. For all his defensive deficiencies and defensive brain farts, he is good, extremely good going forward. Especially his link up, his crosses. We have spoken to death about it. His delivery is probably the best among his peers, right? But in big games, if you're a Carlo, right, given you have the sample size of these many games, what has it been now? 18 games played for us, right? 19th match day or whatever. Um, and the 6 Champions League games we have played. So if you take that sample size into account and you're playing a big team, let's just say if you're facing someone of the likes of Liverpool in the semi-final or the quarter-final tomorrow, right? What would your thinking be? Would you go for? I know it's completely a game by game equation when it comes to this, especially team selection. But considering the stakes, would you go for some sort of a defensive stability with Asensio's at right back, to which Carlo has previously mentioned that they have kind of tried him at right back, and we see him coming on at right back to finish off games. Would you rather start with Asensio right back or make Vasquez our free man in attack down the right?
If the game was tomorrow,
Yeah.
okay. I want to say it this way, right? First of all, to answer your question, I would definitely go with Lucas Vasquez. This, for me, there is something I kind of disagree with you. I think what you said was like Lucas Vasquez, like he has. You said he's one of the best offensive right backs, right?
His delivery is one of the best among his peers, and he's very good offensively as a right back for me.
So for me, I disagree with that. I don't think what I would say is like I would reframe it in a way that I think Lucas Vasquez's offensive performance, like attacking performance as a right back, is much better than the work that he gives us as a defensive, defense in defense. But having said that, if we were going to play a game tomorrow, I wouldn't start Raul Asensio on right back ahead of Lucas Vasquez because I think that kind of we got a reason why we wouldn't do that, like because we conceded a goal in the second half to Sevilla. The goal that Luke Bacchio scored. We kind of understood why maybe in this team Ancelotti's going with Lucas Vasquez over starting somebody like Raul Asensio game in game out for a right back position, because I think that understanding for Asensio, the understanding of the role, and more importantly the understanding of between when he's playing as a right back, the understanding that has to be there between Tchouaméni and Raul Asensio isn't there. Because that goal, when Luke Bacchio kind of like runs at him, I think if there was someone that Tchouaméni as a centre back trusted more, he probably goes on to close that guy down, close Luke Bacchio down, to close that shot from coming in. But the thing is, like, he's going to leave a position space behind him, and did not trust. For me, the way I interpreted, I kind of felt like he didn't have enough trust for. Let's say Raul Asensio to close that space down. But if it was Lucas Vasquez, I'm trying to think that he would have done that. Had enough trust. But the thing is, like, even for Lucas Vasquez, I've kind of noticed there are moments where he doesn't really adapt his positioning, especially in transitions or in defensive phases, enough for his center back to rest him. So I guess I'm not a big fan of either of these two players on right back positions. And I guess Lucas Vazquez had a pretty brilliant game today, especially offensively. But let's not forget what has happened, in the season till now. There have been plenty of moments where we have kind of pulled our hair out because of how our fullbacks have performed. So for
Yep.
me, while I do give credit to Lucas Vazquez, and I do think that he has been a brilliant member of this club and member of this squad, and he's performed whenever he has been given a chance till this season. But this season, something isn't working for me. As much as I love Lucas Vazquez, I have to say, like, his performances this season haven't been up to the mark. But today, I think he definitely stepped up, and his performance was pretty brilliant. We saw him do things offensively that we haven't seen him do so far this season, and a lot of his flakes and tricks, it kind of just came off. And for me, Lucas Vazquez today was brilliant, going offensively, like you said. And if it was just today, if I was looking at it, I would definitely agree with you and say Lucas Vazquez is definitely one of the best offensive fullbacks in the world. But the thing is, like, I have seen him play the rest of the season as well, so I kind of wouldn't agree. But if the game was tomorrow and if I were playing Liverpool, I would definitely go with Lucas Vazquez over Raul Asensio.
Going by the trend and just reading between the lines what the news has been coming out of the club and the general temperature going into the winter transfer window, it seems like we are not going to rely on the academy. We are not going to rely on someone else to play the position. Maybe Fede, if push comes to shove. But more often than not, we might see Vasquez kind of filling out the right back position. Like you said, like, probably I get carried away by it's probably because, like, I have such a strong connection for Vasquez because he has been a loyal servant and whatnot. He has been part of one of the most glorious periods in a rich history. So that just gives me a lot of it just prevents me from really slating him too much. And whenever people tell me, oh, you know what, he was shite, I just tell them, like, he is not a defender. He is someone who is filling a role for his club that the club really doesn't care enough to plug. It's basically Vasquez kind of trying to save the season.
So
right?
I think there are two different arguments being made here. First of all, the thing is, like, the thing about you mentioned about him being representative of a glorious era at the club, I think I definitely agree with that, and I think a lot of people have the connections with him about that. But the thing is, like, you cannot have those emotions cloud the kind of player he is. And you definitely made a good point about him being a converted right back, because he was a right winger. But the thing is, like, he has been playing this position since 2021. So this is like, now it's the 24-25 season. So it's been like good 3-4 seasons for him. So that he's been playing this position. And I think the thing is, like, even in the academy, there were certain instances where he played as a right back. So it isn't like it just completely came out of the blue, or, this was completely new to him in 2021. In 2021,
can you really
for me,
someone defensive IQ, especially if you're what,
I think with
28.
repetition, okay, fine. Look, see, here's the thing. For me, the reason why I'm going for Lucas Vazquez over Asensio if there was a match tomorrow is because I think Lucas Vazquez has definitely showed improvement. His understanding of the space,
100%.
his understanding with his defensive counterparts is the reason why I would go with him. And for me, Lucas Vazquez definitely improved. And I think in 2021 season he did brilliantly, but then he was also helped by the way Zidane set out that season, because offensively we weren't that great that season. We were just reliant on Benzema pulling something out of the hat, and the rest of it was based on how good we were defensively. So for me, I think Lucas Vazquez, when we're evaluating him, we also have to consider the fact that under Ancelotti there has been a lot of focus on being good offensively, giving a lot of freedom to players, and as a result of that, sometimes defense suffers a little bit. And this season, like others have mentioned as well on the podcast, like, there has been a certain lack of consistency in the defensive organization of, the way the team is set up. So it definitely hurts somebody like Lucas Vazquez, who you said is like, converted right back. So for me, having said that, for me, I think I definitely have to consider the fact that for Real Madrid, the reason why Lucas Vazquez is playing at right back right now is because we don't have a better alternative. Valverde, like you said, can play at times, but I think like Valverde is also pretty important in the midfield, and need
Mm,
that contribution from him. So for me, Lucas Vasquez, yeah, I definitely value him. I definitely think he's a good player. But if we had a better option, I don't think he would be playing at the right position.
mm, yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. But I would just remind the people that go for Vasquez. The fact that when we need big moments, Vasquez. I know he has had some big brain farts as well. If you remember, even for tonight's first goal, if he isn't exactly responsible for that to happen, like I would expect a fullback, no matter who is playing in that position. Like I would say the same when Mendy has lapses like these. Like especially when you're defending across from the opposite side, you got to kind of give Joe Many something to think about, right? Like you're completely out of the question, and Isaac Romero has a simple header to basically bring the score to 3-1. But yeah, Vasquez again,
I think
neat for first time.
I think
Go on more. Mm,
the like a point that I agree with you is the fact that you said Lucas Vasquez has the personality and character to play for Real Madrid because like you said, he whenever the big moments is there, Lucas Vasquez has always been there. He's never shied away
mm,
from it, and I think that is why he has been as successful as he has been at Real Madrid.
yeah,
Initially playing at the right wing position, now playing in the right back position. It is because he deserves to play for Madrid because he has the character and the personality to play for the club. It's not just about talent; it's also about having that mental fortitude, which I think Lucas Vasquez has in spades. So
mm,
Lucas Vasquez deserves a lot of credit for what he has done for Real Madrid, and I'm not trying to if I'm being a little bit being a little bit harsh on his right back work rate. It's not because I don't think he's a good player. Like I definitely
yeah,
understand he has this thing, but let's be honest. Like the reason why he's playing is because Real Madrid do not have a better alternative. But then,
hundred
having
percent.
said
It's
that, even if we get
mm,
somebody in the winter window, it's not necessarily a guarantee that he can be an improvement on Vasquez because maybe technically or tactically they are better than Vasquez, but maybe they don't have the same level of mental fortitude, or the personality to play for this shirt. So Real Madrid have to definitely be careful about how they decide to go forward. In the winter window because let's be honest, the best players don't come up for sale in the winter window. So we don't know. And for me personally, I would be pretty happy going with Lucas Vasquez as a right back for the rest of the season because the players that we might get aren't necessarily going to be the players that might unseat Lucas Vasquez at the right back position. Like Lucas Vasquez,
mm,
when we're discussing about him, especially at Real Madrid, we're discussing at a very high level. If it was, let's say, if he was playing for a club like Sevilla or somebody, a little bit a
yeah,
level below, Lucas Vasquez would definitely be considered like a pretty good player. So it is just at this level that maybe he isn't up to that, but Lucas Vasquez overall is like he's a pretty good player. He's a very good personality. He has all the characteristics that you need for a squad that needs to win titles. So I'm pretty happy. Like for me,
yeah.
going the rest of the season with Lucas Vasquez, his performances maybe on the day they might make you pull your hair out and think, okay, man, we need somebody better. And the thing is, like Real Madrid, the reason why he's playing week in week out is because we had an unfortunate situation with Carvajal. Otherwise, Carvajal would be the
Yeah,
starter. If Lucas
you
Vasquez
should.
as a backup is pretty adequate.
100%, 100%. We spent too long on Vasquez, but I guess he is a headline grabbing act. But yeah, man, big up Vasquez. Let's get into a few of the comments before we move further. Ashik was mentioning Mbappe and Fede showed all that money that the Americans, Chinese, and Russians invest guided missiles has nothing on the ones that Real Madrid possesses, probably referring to Mbappe and Fede's finishes. Valid point. Big up Ifti. He was mentioning second half FC. Uh, not second half FC, but Bangers FC. 100%. Ashik also mentioned, I'm looking for the City and Barca loving haters to join today's episode. Where are those losers? Yeah, the Barcelona guys. I don't see them. Where are they? Where are they? Yeah, we should go look for them. But yeah, Ashik was mentioning world champions Madrid getting ready for the business end of the season. So-called unbeatable idiots from Catalonia is getting a reality check. Right, Ashik was also mentioning Mbappe's boy Mbappe. If he was mentioning Barca 2024, 4-0 in La Liga October trophy. It's funny, right? They were running away with the league 3 weeks ago, apparently. But yeah, that's what happens to people who don't wait, right?
Yeah, I think
Miss-
the important thing is like we just need to. Everybody needs to remind themselves that titles, the important titles, are won in based on how you do,
Oh,
where
also
you are in life.
Barcelona.
Yeah, definitely.
Regarding Barcelona, you
Like
have to just be
like I said,
patient.
like
They just
everyone. When I said
yeah.
everyone, I include the people from Barcelona and people from
Mm,
Atleti as well, because I
mm,
think Atleti are a point ahead of us. You just need to be careful. Like even like after the game against Rayo, we kind of said the same thing. Okay,
yeah.
this might be a blip, but it represents a good direction that Madrid is going in. So we'll
Hmm.
see where everybody ends up in
No,
May.
it's referring to the fact that we just have to wait for Barcelona to kind of fall over their own legs. It just
Yeah,
is a
definitely.
matter of time. Um, but yeah, 1 minute seven, yeah, more 1 minute seven. Isn't that relegation form? Mr. Fortress, big up yourself. He was mentioning I'm back after the holidays. Could have been a lot worse, to be honest. 3-3 disappointing. What is that supposed to mean? I think he's referring to the Rayo result. Rayo has been a week ago, man. Is he watching back a pre-telecasted? I'm not sure. Mr. Fortress, you have completely caught me off guard. Ashik was mentioning, love the fourth goal. Mbappe toying with the defense and then the quick ball movement and the little touch by Kiki to Brahim. Right. He was also mentioning someone should remind the trash bin Barca fan base that titles are won in April, May. 100%. He also says pure class by the Bernabeu to show him the love and respect to Navas, what a player. Right. Okay. Sabias has been very reliable lately, consistently reliable. Mo, what do you think of the pivot Ceballos and Fede Valverde? Do you think it's the blueprint for what we are going to see come February, March?
Yeah, for me, Ceballos has been.
Mm,
I guess like when for us we often talked about how Ceballos could do a role that we needed, especially in situations that we were stuck in towards the start of the season, because
yeah.
we always pointed him out as somebody who could be good at recycling possession and playing under pressure. So far this season, whenever he has gotten the opportunity, I think he's done well. And even today, I kind of felt like after Ceballos went off, Real tended to struggle a little bit with the recycling of possession, and we
Hmm.
became a little bit more. Let's say more up and down as a team, more end to end. The game became more end to end. So I guess he has definitely stepped up and done a decent job, but there is a lot of room for him to grow as well. And he could be much better, and Real Madrid definitely will benefit if he improves his level.
100%. Ceballos, yeah, like I've been very happy. Let's see. Like I just want him to be as good as what he has shown over the past a month and a half, going into February, March, and basically him being a mainstay in the starting lineups for the big games, the big Champions League games, the game we have to play away at the Montjuic, um, and at home in the derby and stuff like that. So yeah, the moment he finishes out his season being the mainstay in our midfield, I'll completely reverse my opinion on him and say that yeah, finally, what could have been is that there is something tangible to it now. So as long as that happens, we'll have to kind of, at least my jury, my verdict is still 50-50. The jury is still out. Right. Rodrigo, quickly, Mo, is he finally back? Do you think that he's getting back to his pre-injury form?
I think Rodrigo played a good game today. He's been playing
Mm,
good games like in the past few games as well. Uh, for me, I don't. I kind of wonder if he's like fully 90 minutes a game fit, because
yeah, he's not.
Ancelotti pulled him off in the second half, and there
Mm,
was this opportunity where I kind of felt like when I think Mbappe laid off the ball to him, I kind of felt like he could have had a much better shot, but
yeah,
there was an element of fatigue to that. So I guess there is still some ways to go, but so far, and Rodrigo is doing pretty well. For me, the thing is like he has to maintain that consistency throughout the season, and hopefully he can, because we all know Rodrigo. If he performs to his level, there's no limit to what he can achieve, and he can be one of the best players in the world. I
mm,
mean, I would probably say he's already is one of the best players in the world, but
yeah.
there is a certain level that he can reach, which I feel Vinny has reached. Because when both of them came, I think the thought was like both of these guys can come to dominate world football. So while Rodrigo has definitely been there for Real Madrid at key moments, there is still a level he can go up.
He needs one of those seasons like he had in 22-23 again. Like last year was a missed opportunity, like what Farouk always mentions. There was a clear, plan in place to kind of make him a lot more pronounced, his impact a lot more pronounced than it was. But I hope this season, especially the latter stages of the season, is primed for him to kind of explode. But yeah, quickly, I just wanted to ask you about this more. Thibaut, right? Best goalkeeper in the world. No question in that. Without a doubt, he has saved us on many occasions. But this near post hangama, right? This near post tragic occurrences over the past few games. Like, is there a cause for concern?
For me personally, I'm not too concerned about it because players go through dips and crests and troughs of form. So yeah, I kind of understand. For me, I don't want to be too harsh on Courtois for today. Like when I look at it in isolation, because that shot that that Lukebakio got off for Courtois, like it was like at a lot of pace and it was hit with a lot of power, and even then Courtois sort of gets a hand to it. So for me, I'm not too concerned. I'm more concerned about what was happening ahead of him, because I think today the two goals that we conceded were avoidable. Both of them, I kind of felt like they came because of lackadaisical approach from the players in front of Courtois, and not necessarily because of how Courtois positioned himself. And the near post thing, maybe it is an area that needs. Maybe that is an area that Courtois needs to maybe look back and work a little on. But I think like there have been so many chances, like even in this game where he pulled off some spectacular saves. So I tend not to be too harsh on him. For me, overall, like if Real Madrid concede less goals in these games, is because of the way Courtois is and because of the way he's performing. Because Tchouaméni, the goal that we consider the first goal for Isaac Romero, and Rudiger suddenly steps out and Tchouaméni is not comfortable enough to protect him, and then even Lucas Vazquez didn't do a good job on that goal. And on the second goal, Raul Asensio, I think he's caught in no man's land, and Tchouaméni is hesitant to step forward and close down and Lukebakio before he gets the shot off. So for me, there are a lot of things that are going on that are probably exposing Courtois a little when he needs a little bit of protection. But then I have full faith that whatever issues that seem to be highlighting him, that he can work through it and come out the better on the other side.
100%. I completely agree that that there are some instances that is completely beyond Thibaut's control, but I do still think that people are going to be watching a lot of footage, especially of this season where he has been susceptible to near post shots, and they're going to be looking to capitalize on it sooner rather than later. But yeah, he should be prepared.
But I think at the same time, I think Real Madrid definitely will also take notice of it, and then Courtois himself will take notice of it, and I'm pretty sure they are going to try and do some work to improve on that.
100%. Big up Ajay. He was mentioning, he was asking, I think Asensio starting ahead of Tchouaméni is better for our defense. Thoughts? Many people have really, kind of posed that question, especially after the Rayo game and whatnot. Tchouaméni has had, a couple of iffy moments, especially, in crosses played into his side. He has looked, a bit shaky. Like I completely kind of is 100% confident in his ability to deal with aerial balls and whatnot. But yeah, man, more your thoughts. Asensio is a natural centre back. I really was kind of a bit, I thought it was a little harsh, Asensio kind of being dropped out of the blue. But I completely understood what Carlo was doing. It was in a way to kind of protect his reputation. If he has a bad game this early into his Madrid career, it might kind of, do him more bad than good. I get that narrative, but what do you think, Mo?
For the first thing, I don't agree with that narrative. Like, I don't understand. I don't think that was the reason why he dropped them. But having said that, like, what I've noticed in the games that I've watched is like whenever Rudiger steps out and is a little bit too aggressive, Tchouaméni has been unable to close down and provide that cover. So when questions do come up about Raul Asensio being played ahead of Tchouaméni, I kind like from that direction I kind of tend to agree with it. And like you said, it was a little harsh on Asensio to drop him suddenly. He completely fell off the face of the earth once Tchouaméni came back, and criticism that is being directed towards that decision is completely valid. Something that comes into my mind is the fact that when we played against Getafe, it was Alvaro who was interviewed, and he said that I'm really happy for the way Asensio he's playing and the credit that he's deserving. But the thing is, like, he has to be careful because sometimes the press will praise him to the ends of the earth, and they will tell you that he's a mainstay in the first team, and then suddenly he will be gone off the face of the earth. Suddenly he would just disappear. Like the same thing happened with Alvaro, right? Because there was a point in time where everybody was saying that he's going to, from next season on, he's going to be a member of the first team. Real Madrid have found their solution, their backup for Benzema and everything. And suddenly Joselu comes in, and Alvaro, everybody forgets about him. So I kind of feel like something similar is happening to Raul Asensio, because Tchouaméni comes back and suddenly Ancelotti decides that he's not going to use him anymore. While you have said that maybe you think that he's doing it to protect Raul Asensio, my take is like this is what Ancelotti has always done. Whenever an experienced player...
Oh yeah, I also do think that, because Carlo would trust experience.
And I think sometimes he does it to the detriment of the players in question, because there is a certain track record that we have talked about it a lot of times. So for me, Raul Asensio, I think the way the situation has been handled does leave a little bit of a bad taste. But the thing is, like, I do understand why Ancelotti would want to trust Tchouaméni.
The season is long.
Yeah, having said
Tchouaméni might pick up a suspension,
Yeah, having said that, I think there is still time for Asensio to come back in and get some games, so that for me, the way that Tchouaméni has played covering for Rudiger is a cause for concern. I think Raul Asensio definitely did better over there, but the experience that Tchouaméni has, and I think he does give us something extra when, especially we're trying to play out of the back, that I don't think Asensio could give. For me, the bigger concern for Asensio would be the return of David Alaba and how Ancelotti handles that situation, because now at least he's giving him some time from the bench. I don't know what he does when David Alaba comes back.
Let's hope he comes back in a position to kind of help us, man, because we need all the help. Because come Feb, Jan, it's basically 3 games. I mean, a game every 3 days. It's bound to basically open way for injuries and suspensions and whatnot. People are gonna have some difficulties kind of filling spots. So
For me personally, I'm not expecting much from David Alaba. He's coming back from an injury that lasted for a year. There were some rumors about his recovery not being exactly the way everybody hoped it would be. So I don't know. For me, I don't have no expectations from Alaba the remaining part of the season. At best, I expect him to start getting better at the beginning of the second next season. But for this season, I absolutely have no. I don't want to put too much pressure on him.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you would know better because you're you basically are a doc, right? So you can kind of give us a better insight. But Metro TV was mentioning great first half performance. The reason why he doesn't mention about the second half is we have seen this before against Alaves as well. We kind of tend to take our foot off the gas is an understatement.
For me, today was a little different from Alaves, because Alaves, we weren't necessarily wanting to give, for Alaves, we were in a different situation. For today, it's the thing, this team is coming from Qatar, after having gone there midweek and everything. So I kind of want to give a little bit leave, and that scored 4 goals. They were completely dominating, so it's kind of understandable that you lose there were certain issues that I hope the team addresses, but overall, I don't worry too much.
I just wanted to say, if taking the foot of the pedal was Alaves, this is us basically stepping out of a driving car. We just completely gave up. I remember Mbappe's attempted cross to find someone on the left flank. It was atrocious.
Jude.
But that was
Jude.
Jude, right? Yeah. Atrocious.
But for that, I think there was an element where the expectation of the pass was for it to go to Jude. Mbappe wasn't really expecting the ball to come to him, and suddenly he comes on and he tries to do something. But
Yeah.
but a professional player, you expect a lot better than that, especially a
Yeah,
professional at
100%.
Mbappe's level.
100%. Yeah, it was a bit jarring. But I guess that's pretty much it. Ashik was asking us, Alaba can cover left back with his return, with Asensio and Rudiger, but we don't know what Alaba is coming back. Right, in what form Alaba is
Yeah.
coming back. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think that's pretty much it. Right, big up the people tuning in. Big up our audio listeners who will be tuning in later on as well. I've always reiterated, our audio listeners have been a huge part of what has kept us going for so long. A huge backbone of what we have been doing over the past 3.5 years. It's with immense humility that I, take all the love that you guys have shown us over the years, the positive feedback, negative feedback, and whatnot. The two-way street that you kind of give us to make this a football conversation, a civil conversation. Also, the sponsors, all throughout the years, Manscaped, Fanatics, Talksport, for showing, true football movements like us. Some deserve love. Let's be honest. These guys, they go well and above and beyond to show us some love. So yeah, go check them out, man. LBR20 good, free shipping and 20% off on manscaped.com. And Fanatics, use our link in the description below. Make sure you guys, if you're gonna buy something from Fanatics, make sure to use our affiliated link in the description so that they know you guys came through us. Also, show some love to our partners on Talksport as well. Show the socials and the YouTube some love. Right. Merry Christmas. And early Happy New Year. Right. Like when we come back, it'll be the 3rd of January, right? On Friday. Um, Before that, there is the preview. I think should be for New Year's. I'm not sure. Probably for New Year's next Wednesday. But yeah. More final thoughts. 2024. How has it been? What expectations do you have for 2025?
I think 24 has been a pretty brilliant year, all things considered. You wouldn't have too much room for complaint, apart from
Yeah.
the maybe beginning of the season, how things went till November. But
Yeah.
overall, I think Real Madrid fans have to leave the season pretty satisfied. So I guess and today's game was kind of like a happy way to end the year. Uh, a historic year, I might add. I think we won like 5 titles this year, so always something to cheer for. But hopefully we can do even better next season and maybe get that one achievement that has been eluding Real Madrid from its inception. I don't want to name it. I don't want to jinx it. But having said that, even if we don't, as long as we do well in La Liga and the Champions League, I'll be pretty happy with all with how things go.
Elusive Trouble, yeah, has been
So
on my
I
mind ever
didn't
since.
say it. I didn't say anything. So if we lose, everybody knows who to blame. So not me.
I don't give a rat's ass about the Trouble, but yeah, since you mentioned, I just recalled how much I was obsessed with it. Thank you for reminding me. This might be probably the year we might lay our hands on a Trouble finally. Is that all right? Like, I'm pretty sure our rivals would find something else to kind of beat us with, if we get that done. But yeah, Ashik was mentioning City lose, Barca lost, Real won. Merry Christmas, baby. Dennis the Great was mentioning, big up, guys. Wonderful finish to 2024. 100%. Yeah, all things considered, like you mentioned, this year was exceptional. Like, I was so grateful. Like, you have no idea what that double meant. 6 months ago, surreal, one of the most happiest moments in my life. Yeah, still overwhelmed by such a great year. But I hope next year is of a similar vein, because I'm still hungry. I still want to see many titles, major titles, not just Mickey Mouse trophies, the big ones. I want the big boys, the league and the Champions League, the double. The demands are, sky high, all the same. Like last year, just hope the boys can deliver, because the ingredients are there. The cooking is being done. The chefs are at work. So hopefully by Feb March, we are gonna attend a nice buffet. Yamo. Inshallah.
I definitely want to be eating at the same buffet as you. So
Inshallah, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. But yeah, big up Doris, big up Manscaped. Go check the new product out, the Chairman Pro. It has been getting some rave reviews as well. So perfect excuse to kind of get something for your loved ones through Manscaped. LBI20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Until next time, Ala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features two interchangeable blade heads, one called the blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer, for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for a full precision. The thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother or dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. Use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.